The next type of insurance I'm talking about is what kicks in during your golden years. That is long-term care insurance. As you know, as we journey further in life, we script the chapters of our lives, would encounter passages that speak of care, dignity, and independence in our golden years. Long-term care insurance is increasingly becoming one of the bedrock that most families falls on. I want you to meet my couple who shared a life of adventure dreams together, the journey through retirement beyond a time when the need for care may grow, independence and dignity remains undiminished if this couple has long-term care insurance. I want you to think, how can we ensure that our needs are met without burdening our children? What if one of us requires long-term care? So if we require long-term care, then this becomes our beacon of hope. Like home health care, assisted living, nursing home, all those bills that will come with accessing those facilities, long-term care can jump in to help us. Optimal age to consider would be between 50 and 65. You want to get this especially if you have chronic illness, disability, because you want to make sure that you have lower premiums. The younger and healthier you are, the lower your premiums will be. Waiting too long can result in significantly higher costs or even a disqualification. So applying between the 50 and 65 years increases your chance of approval. When you start between your 50 or early 60s, it also allows you to include it in your broader picture of your retirement planning, so that you don't end up depleting your retirement savings because you are relying on it. Something came up during your retirement years, and therefore you have to sort services like home care, assisted living, and that kind of stuff. For those considering hybrid policies, life insurance with long-term care riders starting earlier can maximize the benefit of the compound interest on the policy's cash value component. That is something else that we'll talk about. So I'll leave it till we are discussing about cash value insurance. I want you to evaluate your current situation, see how your budget, and see where you can incorporate it into it if you are above 50 years. There are other alternatives. Assess other financial planning options for long-term care, such as savings, investments, and all that. In conclusion, while the recommended age range to consider long-term care insurance is between 50 and 65, individual circumstances like your health status, your financial situation, and retirement goals should play a crucial role in you making this decision. It will help you navigate the decision based on your unique situation, ensuring that when time comes, you'll have the care you need to be able to go through that. The couples that I presented would have a relaxed peace of mind. They're not going to burden their kids in their old age, and they're going to enjoy their golden age because they put in long-term care insurance. Remember, I said it's a promise of care, dignity, and independence. As you contemplate the pages yet to be written in your own life story, I want you to consider how long-term care insurance might play a role in your narrative. It shouldn't be framed just as a merely financial tool, but I want you to emphasize the role it will play in giving you the confidence, the grace, and the peace of mind. Now to the next type of insurance is life insurance, but I will stick with term life insurance. And I'll tell you why I would want to stick with term life insurance. I know the insurance people will come after me, but this is my view. So in the chapters of our lives, some moments shine brighter, milestones that mark our journey. Here we introduce to the guardians of legacy, term life insurance. I want you to picture somebody, understand the fragility of life. Like term life would help you, it will help your family should your life end prematurely. The beneficiaries of life insurance or term life insurance, I would say, can attest to that. Now to the next type of insurance is life insurance, but I will stick with term life insurance. And I'll tell you why I would want to stick with term life insurance. I know the insurance people will come after me, but Chris passed away and the family needed, at least the kids, they needed to continue with their life. It was this term life insurance that helped them through. So when you're choosing term life insurance, make sure that it matches your family needs, often 10, 20, or 30 years. You are choosing it because you have dependents and you know how your dependent depends on you, how long they're going to depend on you. Make sure that your debts, your daily expenses, and future plans are all covered, allowing your family to maintain their lifestyle and focus on their journey ahead without financial burden should something happen along the way. Term life insurances are making sure that no matter what happens, without you being in the picture, your kids, your spouse, your dependents can still have that comfortable life. I don't want you to go into cash value or long-term insurance just because it has the cash value and it has the term policy as well. Term life insurance isn't merely about facing the reality of life fragility, it's about embracing the power we have to protect, to plan, and to ensure that our legacies endure. Life insurance supports your loved ones financially if you pass away, helping cover living expenses, debt, future plans like college. Whether you choose term life or coverage over a specific period of time or whole life, it's about securing your family's future. I want to break down and say that term life will cover for a specific period of time. So 10, 20, 30 years. If the policyholder passes away within the term, the beneficiaries receive the death benefit. If you live and it passes the time that you chose, then at the end of the day, you get nothing. Generally, term life insurance is also very less expensive, or it's less expensive compared to whole life insurance. It's straightforward insurance without the complexity of an investment component. You choose the term that matches your family needs, focusing on periods when financial obligations are the highest. Now, what are the disadvantages? The disadvantages, once the term expires, so does the coverage, unless you renew the policy, often at a higher rate. Because if I get term life insurance at my age with my comorbidities, if I have any at my age, I get a premium that is lower. If I wait till my policy expires, then I'm going to have to pay for the time that I do insure myself. Think about it this way: should you be gone, how will your spouse pay for monthly expenses without your income? I'd always recommend 10 to 12 times your annual income. So let's say your annual income is about 20,000, then you should need about 200,000 to 240. If your income is about 120, then you need about 1.2 million and all that. Now, debunking it or comparing it with whole life insurance. Whole life insurance is a type of permanent lifelong coverage. It includes a cash value component that grows at a guaranteed rate. Now, what are the pros of whole life insurance? As long as your premiums are paid, whole life insurance provides permanent protection without expiration. Part of the premium contributes to your cash value, which grows tax deferred and can be borrowed against during your life. Premiums generally remain constant over the life of the policy, making budgeting easier. Now, what are the disadvantages of whole life insurance? So whole life insurance is more expensive than term life due to the lifelong coverage and the saving component. Managing a whole life insurance policy and understanding cash value component can be more complex than plain term life insurance. This is why I don't like it. The cash value component, if you had invested that part of the money in an investment fund, you would have gotten a higher rate of return compared to you investing it as part of your policy. At your maturity age, what you can withdraw this cash value. So you have to read the fine print, champions of change, when you go into to sign for your whole life insurance or your term life insurance, because sometimes it gives you the age or the hour rate you can withdraw any value. So it makes it sometimes a bit useless in the sense that you are unable to cash out whole life could be a better option if you're interested in lifelong coverage and potentially to build cash value. I want you to assess your financial goals, your current financial situation, and the needs for your dependents. Think about whether you're looking for temporary protection or a permanent financial asset. Evaluate if you want to combine your life insurance with an investment component. Ultimately, I'll say seek financial guidance from a financial advisor who can personalize advice to help you make the best decision. Now, the seventh type of insurance I'm talking about is identity theft protection. As you all know, we're living in an internet age, I would say. We go to the shops, we're swiping our cards, we're exchanging information. In this digital world, identity theft guards against fraud, thefts of your personal information. As we navigate digital age, our stories extend beyond the physical, weaving into the vast network of internet. But with this insurance, imagine your identity is stolen on the internet. At least the insurance company can help you fight it. Retail outlets are in constant attack by hackers to break into their system every day with very little information about you. Hackers can even take mortgage in your name, your line of credit, or even file a false tax return. So make sure your insurance covers that. Sometimes when you do your property insurance, as we discussed earlier, you can have this identity theft added into it. Now, the next type of insurance I'm talking about is umbrella insurance. So what is umbrella insurance? We've talked about all the different types of insurance. So this is something that kind of ties all your assets together. This comes into play as an expensive shell that extends far beyond the usual boundaries of liability coverage. What is umbrella insurance? So umbrella insurance will protect you and your asset. I would say if your net worth is more than $500,000, it serves as a top layer protection over all your other insurances. You may want to consider if you have quite some money. Now, these other insurance I'm going to talk about, you can decide to have it. It's not a must-have, but the 8 I discussed about is a must-have. You want to make sure that you have those type of insurance to cater for you, give you and your family some peace of mind. Now, number 9, I want to talk about critical illness insurance. Personally, I don't have critical illness insurance, but I have seen other people benefiting from that. I sometimes feel like if you have an emergency fund, you have all this kind of insurance which will kick in, at least you have short-term, you have long-term disability, then critical illness insurance might not be necessary. But if you have cancer, heart disease, or anything like that, you will want to consider critical illness insurance. It becomes that beacon of hope, providing a lump sum payment that alleviates the financial strain, allowing you to focus solely on recovery should you have a heart attack or cancer or something like that. Now, for our furry lovers, pet insurance is something you want to consider. It can be very expensive. Veterinary emergency, sudden need for medical care for our pets and all that can drain you a lot. So if you have pets, if you love these fur animals, I strongly encourage you to go for pet insurance, because a visit to the veterinary could cost you tons of dollars. The next type of insurance I would want us to discuss here would be travel insurance. Now, if you're moving from one country to another, I would suggest that you include some kind of travel insurance. Should something happen, you lost your luggage, a medical emergency, a canceled flight, this would be something you can always fall back on. Sometimes we think we are traveling, oh, I have this, and when something happens, just so you have the peace of mind. It would safeguard your lost belongings. If there's emergency, repatriation, all that, it will help you a lot. I would say if you're traveling, just make sure that you get something. It's always to be safe than sorry. If nothing happens, at least it gives you the peace of mind. Insurance, I would say, plays in our lives. It is not merely about financial reimbursement. It's about preserving our stories, ensuring that despite life, unpredictability, at least we have something to hold on to. In talking about the importance of insurance, I want to remind us, or I'm always reminded of this quote by Lucius Seneca, a philosopher of ancient Rome, who said, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." In many ways, insurance is the embodiment of this wisdom. It is our preparation for the unknown, ensuring that we have something that we can always fall back on. As we consider the role of insurance in our life, let's not forget the foundation of all we hold dear, our health. A simple yet profound health tip to carry with you is to prioritize preventative care, regular checkups, screening, vaccination. They are the daily steps we should take hand in hand with our health insurance to ensure that we are not just prepared for life unexpected changes, but we are actively working to prevent them. That will be your greatest wealth and asset. We have talked a lot about all these things. As we conclude our exploration about the vast landscape of insurance, from the guardianship of health, life, property, critical care, cherished pets insurance, treasured adventures, insurance might seem like a mundane part of adult life. Sometimes we all have to deal with it, but at its core, it's a testament to our resilience, our care for those we love, commitment to navigate this unpredictable seas of life should something happens to us. If you have been inspired by a change or simply offered you a new perspective, I hope you carry with you. Please share this knowledge with others. Like, share, and subscribe for more exploration into how we can navigate life uncertainties with confidence and grace. I want you to stay curious, stay protected, treasure every moment of your journey, and always remember to be kind to yourself. I am your host and presenter, Gladys Poma Adai. I'll see you in our next episode.